The first things first is to get the base ready, consisting out of 2 pieces of plywood. Just putting some tile textures on here with the knife. This is the other piece, much taller. I decided to go with an upright diorama. So now it's time to fix these 2 together. I've got a bit of a 90-degree clamp here, clamping it all down and then putting some fixings through. Raw plywood, putting some sealer on, polyurethane, just to protect it and help if we later end up painting it. Slowly start building the composition. Bit of a dividing strip, glue that in, hides the joint. Here are the parts that I handpicked from the scrap pile, the ones we'll be using. First things first was to spray paint them grey and then start building the composition up the vertical face. Got a bit of a human figure there for the scale I'm targeting. Just make the various components sort of meander up that back wall. A lot of super glue, and just building out the composition in general. At this point, I've printed out some 3D struts, and I'm just cutting them to length and putting them in, just to give the whole thing a bit of structural rigidity, and then keep adding parts as we go. So this piece I 3D printed from a model I had and then painted white. So this clips in there, frames that portal window that we're basing a lot of this around. And some more struts, just to make sure that everything stays up. Now I'm just start thinking of the various platforms that we are going to put the people on. Thinking about how to essentially occupy the structure. So I start gluing in these rectangular floors everywhere. Series of vertical and horizontal planes just to subdivide various areas of the model. I like the way this is looking, but we need a few more. Now to move on to a bit more detail. I've got these little ladders I printed out on the 3D printer. Glue a few of them in. Gives it some capability to climb up into the structure. Now for some supports for those floors we put in, the cardboard floors. I've got some of these 3D printed steel beams. Put those in, that makes everything look quite industrial, which is cool. Slowly but surely taking shape and getting more and more detail in. There's a bit of a balustrade I put on that corner there. Quite happy with that. And then start adding some more white panels. Adding a few selected roofing panels over various parts, especially that round portal window there as well. More steel beams everywhere. They look cool. Make it look really industrial, but it also just helps keep everything together. And then of course the bits of balustrade, grills, fences everywhere. Keep layering those details on, specifically structure. Found what looks like a bit of a big display screen, glued that on that structure there in the bottom, and then starting to think what the floor looks like, so I glue this black piece down, and a few more screens, a few more details. Do a bit of work on the back vertical wall just to give it some more detail. And then come in with a bit of paint here and there just to touch up those critical spots, give the whole model a bit of color. Went with a sort of a sunflower yellow. And then start thinking about where I'm going to put my little figurines. I like this guy with his backpack sitting in that portal window, staring out. And this lady up high. Finishing the base, adding some sand, adding some texture. And then the next step is to dry brush the whole model, just going a shade lighter than the color of the object itself. And when the dry brushing is finished, we go over with some wash, slightly darker, just to give everything that worn, sort of slightly rusted look. Back to the base. Again, adding those lines down. And the last two figures, these two are going to go on the base. They're going to walk in opposite directions, giving the impression of a street running parallel past the structure. And a few cables never go amiss. I've got these nice struts that I've set up, so I can just glue the cables straight in. And these are some images from the finished model.